They stormed a prison and found only 7 prisoners. So why did this moment change history forever? Paris, 1789. The city is restless, not because of war, but because of hunger. Bread has become a luxury. Families wait in long lines, holding coins that can no longer feed them. And with every passing day, something begins to change. Hunger turns into anger. Far away from the suffering, inside the grand halls of Palace of Versailles, life continues as if nothing is wrong. King Louis XVI still believes he is in control. But the people of Paris are no longer willing to wait, because in the heart of the city stands a fortress, silent, cold, and feared, the Bastille, a symbol of power, a symbol of fear. And on one summer day, it will become the spark that ignites a revolution. This is the story of the moment when ordinary people stopped being afraid and started changing history. Paris, summer of 1789. The air is heavy, not wheat heat, but with hunger. Bread, the simplest food, has become a luxury. In the narrow streets of Paris, families wait in endless lines, clutching a few worthless coins, hoping today they might eat. But most don't. A laborer's wage can barely buy a loaf. Mothers go without food so their children can survive another night. Hunger is no longer a passing hardship, it is a slow, suffocating force. And with hunger comes anger. Far from the suffering streets, behind golden gates, the monarchy lives untouched. At the magnificent Palace of Versailles, banquets continue. Silk flows, music plays. King Louis XVI rules a nation he no longer understands. France is drowning in debts crippled by years of war, including support for the American Revolution. The treasury is empty. The system is broken, desperate for solutions. The king calls for a meeting that hasn't been held in over 170 years, the States General of 1789. But hope fades quickly. The third, Estate Commune. People realize something chilling. Despite representing the vast majority of France, they have almost no power. So they do something unprecedented. They break away. They declare themselves the voice of the nation, and in doing so, they light the first spark of revolution. But sparks alone don't create fires. Fear does. In early July, whispers begin to spread through Paris. Quiet at first, then louder with each passing day. The king is gathering troops, foreign soldiers, mercenaries, thousands of them, surrounding the city. No one knows the truth, but truth no longer matters. The people believe only one thing, that they are about to be crushed. Every shadow feels like a soldier. Every distant sound, a marching army. Panic spreads like wildfire. Markets become battlegrounds. Crowds gather, voices rising, fists clenched. The city trembles on the edge of something irreversible. Then, on July 11th, the king makes a decision that ignites everything. He dismisses Jacques Necker's finance minister, one of the few men the people trust, to the citizens of Paris. This is no longer politics. It is a declaration of war. By July 12th, the streets are no longer filled with quiet desperation. They are filled with rage. Speakers climb onto tables in crowded squares, calling for resistance. One name echoes through the chaos: Camille Desmoulins, with a pistol in hand. He urges the people to rise, before it's too late. The crowd listens, and something shifts. Fear transforms into action. Barricades begin to rise across the city. Weapons are seized. Citizens arm themselves with whatever they can find: sticks, knives, old muskets. They are no longer waiting. They are preparing. Because now, the question is no longer if violence will come. It is when, and deep within the heart of Paris, stands a dark, looming symbol of everything they hate. A medieval fortress, cold, silent, unbreakable. The Bastille. To the king, it is just a prison. To the people, it is something far greater. A symbol of tyranny. A place where voices disappear. Reminder that the crown holds absolute power. And soon, that symbol will become a target. Because a city pushed to the edge does not stay silent for long. July 14th, 1789. Morning breaks over Paris, but there is no calm. The city is already awake. Not with routine, but with purpose. Thousands gather in the streets. Workers, shopkeepers, soldiers who have abandoned their posts. All moving as one. All armed, but not enough. The people have weapons, but they lack what truly matters. Gunpowder. Without it, their muskets are useless. Their resistance meaningless. So they move first to less invalids. A military complex, a storage site. By sheer force of numbers, they overwhelm it. Thousands of rifles are seized, but still, no powder. And then, the realization spreads through the crowd like a spark. The gunpowder is stored somewhere else, somewhere stronger, somewhere feared. The Bastille. And just like that, the march begins. The Bastille rises above the city like a shadow from another age. Thick stone walls. Towering battlements. A fortress built not just to defend but to intimidate. Inside, only a handful of prisoners remain. Just 7. But that doesn't matter. Because this is no ordinary prison. It is a symbol of everything the people have suffered. Of every unjust arrest. Every silenced, voiced, every abuse of royal power. By late morning, the crowd surrounds it. Thousands of citizens facing a fortress designed to withstand armies. At its center stands the governor, Bernard René de la UNA. Why that he watches from within the walls. Outnumbered, but not defenseless. The Bastille is armed with cannons and Delaney has orders that hold the fortress, no matter what. At first, there is hesitation. The crowd does not attack immediately. Instead, they call out. They demand the gunpowder. They demand the fortress surrender. For a moment, it seems possible that this could end without bloodshed. Negotiations begin. Time passes. Tension builds. The sun climbs higher. The crowd grows restless. And then something goes wrong. No one knows who fires first. A shot echoes, then another dot. And suddenly chaos. Gunfire erupts from the walls. Smoke fills the air. The crowd surges forward, then falls back under the barrage. Men drop to the ground. Wounded. Dying. Screams pierce through the noise. But they do not run. They return fire. Again and again. 4 hours. The battle rages. An untrained crowd against a fortified stronghold. And yet, they refuse to retreat. Because this is no longer about gunpowder. This is about defiance. Then everything changes. Rain arrived, not for the king, but for the people. French soldiers armed join the crowd. They bring discipline, strategy, hope. Cannons are turned against the Bastille. The balance shifts. Inside the fortress, Delaunay realizes the truth. This cannot be won. The walls that once symbolized power are now a prison. And outside, the people are no longer afraid. They are unstoppable. The battle is over. But the moment has just begun. Inside the Bastille, Governor Bernard René de Launay makes his final decision. He will surrender. The gates are opened. And just like that, the unbreakable fortress falls. The crowd pours in. Not as prisoners, but as conquerors. They search the cells, expecting to find hundreds. Victims of royal cruelty. Forgotten souls. But instead, only 7 prisoners. 7.4. A moment, it almost feels anticlimactic. But the truth is, this was never about the prisoners. It was about what the Bastille represented. And now, that symbol is broken. But revolutions are not calm. They are not controlled. They are not merciful. As de Launay is taken into custody, the crowd surrounds him. Anger boils over. Years of suffering, hunger, fear, all of it, focused on one man. Is dragged through the streets of Paris, beaten, shot at, and then killed. His head is placed on a pike, raised above the crowd, paraded through the city. A message: the old order is dying, and there is no turning back. News spreads rapidly. Not just through Paris, but across all of France. The impossible has happened. The people have defeated royal authority. A fortress once feared now lies in their hands. In the days that follow, the Bastille is dismantled stone by stone, as if the people are erasing it from history. But they are not just destroying a building. They are destroying an idea. Absolute power. And in its place, something new begins to rise. The French Revolution. For King Louis XVI, the message is clear. His authority is no longer absolute. His people are no longer obedient. When told of the events, he asks a simple question. Is it a revolt? And the answer comes back. No, sire. It is a revolution. From this moment forward, nothing will ever be the same. The monarchy will fall. The streets will run with blood. And France will be reborn. Every year, on July 14th, the nation remembers this day as Bastille Day. Not just as a victory, but as a beginning. Because on that summer day in 1789, a starving city found its voice. A frightened people found their courage. And a single act of defiance changed the course of history forever. The Bastille is gone, not just as a fortress, but as a symbol. On that summer day in 1789, the people of Paris didn't just break into a prison. They broke something far greater. Fear. For centuries, the crown had ruled through power, silence, and control. But now, that silence was shattered. And once a people find their voice, it cannot be taken back. The fall of the Bastille sent a message across France that kings were no longer untouchable, that ordinary people could change the course of history. For King Louis XVI, it was the beginning of the end. For France, it was the beginning of something new, a revolution that would reshape a nation and inspire the world. Every year, on July 14th, this moment is remembered as Bastille Day. Not just as a victory, but as a warning that when people are pushed too far, when hunger turns into anger, and anger into action, history doesn't whisper, it erupts. And this was only the beginning, because what came next would shake all of Europe.